In the year 1983, at the Winchester family residence, Mother Mary was putting her two boys to sleep. Baby Sam was in his crib, while Dean, 4 years old, slept in the bed. John Winchester was playing affectionately with Dean, creating a joyful family moment. Mary spoke softly and lovingly to Sam before saying goodnight. After that, Mary woke up when she heard strange noises coming from the baby's room. When she went to see what it was, she found a dark figure standing next to the crib. Thinking it was John, she went to talk to him. But when she went downstairs, she saw her husband sleeping in the living room armchair. Not understanding anything and getting scared, Mary returned to Sam's room. Her desperate screams echoed throughout the entire house, waking John. He ran up the stairs and found Sam crying in the crib, but Mary was nowhere to be found. When he looked up, he saw Mary stuck to the ceiling with a bleeding wound in her stomach. Supernatural fire surrounded her body and spread rapidly through the room. John grabbed Sam from the crib and yelled for Dean to take his brother outside the house. Dean, even though he was just a child, carried Sam to a safe place while the house caught fire. The firefighters arrived, but John stood watching helplessly as his life was destroyed by fire and the supernatural. Hey! What would you do if you discovered that your family was chosen to hunt demons and supernatural creatures for life? The episode I'm going to summarize is the pilot of the series Supernatural. It's a very good American series that mixes horror, drama, and supernatural action. It's the first series I watched in my life, and it easily enters the top 5 of all the series I've watched. It's one of the most memorable series about monster hunting brothers I've ever seen. That's why I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Activate the bell and leave a like to receive the best recaps. Sam Winchester, now 22 years old, had built a completely different life as a law student at Stanford University. He and his girlfriend Jessica Moore were celebrating his incredible grade, which practically guaranteed his acceptance into any law school. Jessica was very proud, and Sam had an important interview on Monday that could result in a full scholarship. During the celebrations, friends joked saying that Sam was the family's golden boy, but he responded evasively, implying that the Winchesters were far from being a normal family. In the early morning hours, strange noises woke Sam. He realized that someone was breaking into the house and quickly hid, preparing to surprise attack the intruder. When the person got closer, Sam tried to attack from behind. But the intruder was very fast and skilled, and the two began a violent fight. In the end, Sam ended up being overpowered by the intruder. In the dim moonlight, Sam recognized the man who was in front of him. It was his older brother Dean. The brothers hadn't seen each other in almost 2 years, and tension was in the air. Jessica appeared, curious about the early morning visitor. Dean greeted her charmingly, but Sam had never talked much about his family. The conversation showed that Dean had a serious reason for his unexpected visit. Dean told them that their father hadn't been showing up at home for days. When Sam initially didn't give importance to the concern, Dean explained that John was hunting. This revelation completely changed the mood of the conversation. He told Jessica that he needed to talk to his brother privately. 18 years earlier, their mother had died under very strange circumstances. Since that day, their father, John, had spent the last 18 years investigating her death, creating a group of demon hunters during this process. Dean had traveled the entire country with his father, hunting demons. Sam, on the other hand, had focused on his studies and returned to a normal life. Sam didn't want to get involved in this since he was used to his father disappearing for several days. Dean then took the recorder and played their father's message for Sam, but the recording was all distorted due to interference. After cleaning the audio, a woman's voice could be heard saying, "You'll never be able to get home." In the end, Sam decided to help Dean look for their father, but established a firm condition. He had to be back by Monday for his crucial law school interview. Late at night, a man was driving when he saw a woman in white standing on the side of the road. At the same time, the car radio completely lost signal. Troy stopped the car on the shoulder and politely opened the door, inviting the woman to get in. The woman in white slowly entered the car. As soon as she sat down, she asked softly, "Do you think I'm beautiful?" Her words made Troy's imagination run wild. He quickly started the car, deciding to take her home. In a short time, Troy followed Constance's directions and arrived at an old house where he stopped the car. Constance looked at the house with a very sad expression, saying softly, "I can't go home." Troy smiled and looked at the house, asking why she couldn't go back. When he turned back to her, Constance had completely disappeared. He got out of the car and walked to the front door, looking for her. While Troy was peering inside the house, a bat suddenly flew out, leaving him terrified. He ran back to the car in total panic. In desperation, Troy started the car and turned it around, ready to leave. But as he tried to calm his breathing and nerves, Constance appeared in the back seat. When Troy looked in the rearview mirror and saw her eyes looking back at him, he screamed and accelerated toward a bridge that was nearby. The car began to shake violently, and all that remained was the sound of Troy's terrified screams. Soon after, Dean and Sam followed the clues and arrived in the small town. Jericho was a typical small American town. The brothers used false identities and fraudulent credit cards to pose as federal agents. They investigated the location where Troy, the most recent victim, had disappeared. The local police were lost. They found no signs of struggle, footprints, or fingerprints. The official investigation suggested serial killer or kidnapping, but they had no concrete clues. Pretending to be Troy's uncles, the brothers interviewed Amy, the victim's girlfriend. She told them a local legend about a murdered girl who returned as a killer ghost, hitchhiking and making men disappear forever. Using local resources and internet, the brothers researched the legend. They discovered information about Constance Welch, a 24-year-old woman who ended her own life in 1981 by jumping from Sylvania Bridge. The report showed a tragic story. She called 911 reporting that her 2 children drowned in the bathtub, but in reality, she killed them after discovering that her husband was unfaithful. Sam made the crucial connection. The bridge where Constance ended her life was the same one where Troy disappeared. They identified Constance as a woman in white, a specific type of vengeful ghost. That night, the brothers visited the bridge to investigate further. While looking for clues, they saw a woman in white standing on the railing. The woman turned to look at them, then dove into the water below. The Winchester brothers ran to check what had happened. At that moment, the headlights of their car, which was parked far away, suddenly turned on. Sam asked, "Who's in the car?" Dean silently held up the car keys. Without warning, the vehicle roared and accelerated toward them. The brothers had no choice but to run for their lives. But there was no way they could run faster than the car. With no choice, both jumped from the bridge. At that moment, the car stopped abruptly. Sam doesn't fall into the river. He holds onto the bridge pipe. He shouts Dean's name downward. Dean appeared from the river below, slowly emerging from the water. Back on the bridge, the brothers put together the pieces of what they had seen. After checking that the car was intact, they concluded that Constance didn't want them to continue investigating. The brothers discovered that John had rented a room at the local motel for an entire month. The room was a true war room with walls covered in clippings, maps, victim photos, and supernatural symbols. Protection equipment like salt and shells were scattered around the place. They found extensive research confirming that Constance was a woman in white. Dean theorized that John should have destroyed her body, but something more complex was happening. The brothers located Joseph Welch, Constance's widower husband. He confirmed that a man, John, had been there days before, asking questions about Constance. Joseph revealed that she was buried in a lot behind the family's old house on Breckenridge Street. When questioned about marital infidelity, Joseph hesitated and eventually admitted to making some mistakes, but insisted that Constance would never have killed her own children. Nervous about the questions, he expelled the brothers. While Dean went out to buy food, he was arrested by local police who suspected his involvement in the disappearances. During interrogation, they showed John's diary, and Dean recognized coded coordinates written by his father. Sam continued the investigation alone, locating the abandoned Welch family house. To free Dean, he made a false emergency call about gunshots, forcing the police to leave the station. Later, while Sam was driving the car, Constance suddenly appeared in the middle of the road. The car passed right through her. Shaken, Sam hit the brakes hard. Before he could recover, Constance materialized inside the car. She turned to Sam and whispered, "Hold me." Sam refused, but the car doors locked by themselves. No matter how much he tried, Sam couldn't unlock them. Then the car started by itself. Sam realized he had no control over the vehicle. The car quickly headed toward an old house and stopped. Suddenly, Sam felt a burning pain in his chest. Opening his shirt, he saw 5 finger-shaped marks pressing into his skin. Constance was attacking him with her hands. At the critical moment, Dean arrived, firing his weapon several times at the car. Sam, quickly recovering, started the car and drove straight into the old house. Inside the house, Constance picked up a photo album from the floor. The album had pictures of her and the 2 children, which seemed to awaken her memories. Dean ran to pull Sam out of the car, and the brothers inadvertently caught Constance's attention. She dropped the album, and a nearby wardrobe threw itself toward the brothers. No matter how much they pushed, they couldn't move it. Suddenly, the house lights began to flicker. Constance turned and saw water coming down the stairs. At the top of the stairs were 2 ghostly children. Overcome by sadness, Constance looked at them, tears filling her eyes. In an instant, the children appeared beside her and hugged her tightly. At that moment, only Constance's anguished screams could be heard. The next instant, Constance and the children disappeared, and the floor returned to normal. The Winchester brothers narrowly escaped death and finally had the chance to catch their breath. They approached to investigate, finding nothing but a puddle of water on the floor. With Constance finally at peace, the brothers reflected on the case. Dean revealed the next coordinates: Blackwater Ridge, Colorado, 900 kilometers away. Sam reaffirmed that he had to return for his Monday interview. Dean accepted his brother's decision with resignation. The farewell was emotional but restrained, typical of the Winchesters, who have difficulty expressing deep feelings. After the incident with the woman in white came to an end, Dean quickly sent Sam home. Sam entered the house and didn't see his girlfriend Jessica. He was about to have a good night's sleep, but 2 drops of blood dripped on his forehead. Opening his eyes, Sam was horrified to see Jessica stuck to the ceiling exactly like his mother 22 years earlier, with a bleeding cut in her stomach. Supernatural fire enveloped Jessica's body, spreading rapidly. Dean, who hadn't left, heard the screams and ran to the apartment. He found Sam in shock and forced him out of the burning building while Sam screamed his girlfriend's name. Sam decided to join Dean in the search for their father and swore to discover the evil force responsible for the deaths of both his mother and Jessica. Dean looked at his brother with a mixture of relief and sadness. He had always wanted Sam back in the family, but not in this tragic way. And so, the episode ends. The question that remains in the air is, will the Winchester brothers manage to find their father and discover who is the demon that destroyed their lives? What grade would you give this episode? Comment if you want me to continue making summaries of the series. Don't forget to activate the bell to be notified of new recaps. So until next time,